Annie, my God. Oh well. La 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 la. Late actress Diane Keaton died at 79. Diane Keaton, who once wowed Hollywood, died quietly. Behind such peace were her final days of turmoil and uncertainty. Several of her villas were for sale. The system deleted her schedule. She disappeared without explanation from every public occasion. While the media probed what occurred, her former friends remained mute. The final details suggested Diane Keaton's death was complicated. This video will tell all. In 2023, Diane Keaton began withdrawing from public life. Her acquaintances regarded her as pleasant but calmer. Her unusual April attendance at a Los Angeles charity event garnered attention. Diane donned a white suit, moved slowly, and smiled softly, but her face was gone. Photographers recorded that scene as a silent ending for a Hollywood star. Mystery. Once we witnessed the mystery. The attic noises were the enigma. Despite journalistic speculation about failing health, Diane kept silent. Nothing was disputed or confirmed. Diane practically gone from movies by late 2024. Her representatives rebuffed talk show and awards ceremony invitations. Diane attended a veteran actress honor ceremony, according to a former coworker. The video montage omitted her name. She smiled. Someone said, then departed the ceremony early. That tale circulated across Hollywood, demonstrating its silent disregard for its founders. At home, Diane mostly read old screenplays, tended her garden, and occasionally saw close friends. The housekeeper stated she regularly talked to herself in her study late at night, repeating her mother's name. Sometimes she walked about the house with every light on, muttering, "I can't sleep in the dark." Nobody knew if it was sleeplessness or a real fear of the dark. A neighbor reported that Diane never left the house, although the living room lights kept on for 3 nights. When queried by family, she answered, "My mother is here tonight." Diane listed her Spanish Revival Brentwood estate, which she had repaired and considered an extension of herself, in March 2025. Real estate professionals said the $8.2 million price was fair, but fans were apprehensive. After a month, Diane posted a photo of her favorite puppy on Instagram with the comment "still here." Her last post. Weeks later, her friends stated she sealed one room in her house and banned everyone. Her daughter opened it after her death and found reels of undeveloped film, heavily marked screenplays, and a framed Annie Hall portrait in the center. Her spokesman also verified Diane had no new significant disease, merely skin cancer treatment. However, a friend said she stopped going to therapy earlier that year, stating she was done trying. Diane listed a $28.9 million property in May, but canceled it 2 weeks before her death. A close friend claimed she wanted to clean for her kids. We found several unsent handwritten letters in her drawer. Some read, "I thought work could save me. It didn't." Diane Keaton, 79, died in California on October 11, 2025. The family gave a brief press statement giving no reason of death. Few close friends attended the funeral. Dexter, her oldest daughter, was late. Diane's death was announced about a day late. After it spread, media outlets inundated the internet with Annie Hall photographs, quotes, and clips. Before the funeral, some studios reissued memorial versions. 2-day DVD sales increased over 200%. Diane's lifelong opposition was marketed in death, as many recognized. Ellen DeGeneres wrote, "Diane Keaton was my childhood hero. Keanu Reeves called her the best at silence. Diane knew who she was and what she desired in life," according to her longtime collaborator Nancy Meyers. Woody Allen, her old friend, wrote, "Diane was the only one who could make silence art. Diane never concealed her losses. She kept a part of them for herself, where truth lives in silence." Exactly such quiet makes Diane Keaton's final story haunting than any other role. Before her tranquil solitude, Diane was the center of a turbulent era. In her early Hollywood years, Diane was bashful, which made her a new emblem of American movie. She began her lengthy career of popularity, innovation, and paradox there. Star shown across Hollywood in 1966, Diane Keaton made her Broadway debut in Hair as Hollywood emerged from its classical era. In her early 20s, then brown-haired, bright-eyed, and unusual, her natural charm and playful spirit set her apart from other actresses of her generation who sought perfection. 2 years later, Diane met Woody Allen at Play It Again Sam auditions. An artistic collaboration lasting over 50 years began with that encounter. Woody was a respected comic writer, whereas Diane was a theatrical newcomer. He was immediately drawn to the young woman's odd magnetic energy, unafraid of mistakes, stupid, and daring enough to violate standard speech. Their bond went beyond cooperation. It was two creative forces meeting. According to Diane, Woody taught her that honesty is the only appropriate way to act. Diane began to attract big directors in the early 1970s. Francis Ford Coppola cast her as Kay Adams in The Godfather in 1972. The film's Kay, a brilliant lady embroiled in Michael Corleone's power, symbolized women divided between tradition and modernity. The job represented Diane's first real cinematic acting role, shattering her Woody Allen lover label. She reunited with Woody Allen in Play It Again, Sam that year, starting their renowned association. Diane, portraying Linda Christie with her trademark wit and sensitivity, created a new romantic comedy heroine who was free-spirited, clever, and endearingly imperfect. Critics began calling her sophisticated femininity, which was unique in 1970s Hollywood, which still emphasized sensuality. From 1972 to 1977, featured in Woody Allen films like Sleeper and Love and Death. The press called the pair the mind of New York and the heart of Hollywood, praising them as romantic and artistic symbols. They shared love and a vision that revolutionized modern cinema by combining intelligence and instinct. Annie Hall, a film Woody wrote for Diane based on her own life, was their peak in 1977. From a little Broadway theater to an Oscar, Diane was authentic, from her loose clothes, white shirts, and black ties to her tentative grin and faltering laughter. Diane Keaton portrayed a soft, strong, romantic woman. Diane became that unfamiliar, true, and irreplaceable voice at an age of change when American cinema was regaining its own. After Annie Hall, the woman who broke the mold, Diane Keaton went for risk. She braved roles like Reds, where she played Louise Bryant, a woman involved in politics and personal struggle rather than a lover or supporter. Red's filming required months of hard work, extreme weather, and emotional stress for Diane. She lost a lot of weight, even contemplated leaving production. Many critics saw her as a more sophisticated and profound actress after the performance. She chose unique films like Baby Boom, about a successful businesswoman who inherits a baby and becomes a mother during the 1980s. Diane had to play a self-reliant lady without stereotyping. Baby Boom earned $26 million, exceeding budget. She eventually became a model for women balancing personal identity and cultural expectations. Diane appeared in Father of the Bride and its 1995 sequel. These films became economic successes and linked her with mainstream audiences. She began directing with Heaven and then Unstrung Heroes, taking a break from main parts. Diane's small initiatives highlighted her willingness to make art her own way rather than following fads. Diane loved architecture and photography, as well as cinema. "The art of architecture is interesting now," she added. A comment from an interview showed her growing obsession. Diane bought ancient Beverly Hills and Los Angeles mansions and designed and renovated them. She preserved the brick walls, repurposed old wooden doors, and never polished anything new, letting light through crevices and time wear things down. Many journalists called her dwellings self-portraits, simple, polished, and full with history. This path often conflicted with Hollywood's expectations. One producer said Diane was unpredictable since she often declined commercial endorsements and conventional parts. She once refused to wear exposing costumes to encourage ticket sales. Choosing authenticity over conformity looked like walking out of the great game, but she accepted it. In the late 1990s, Diane co-starred alongside Meryl Streep in Marvin's Room, a family drama about illness and bereavement. She received her fourth Oscar nomination for her smaller but moving performance. Diane entered a new chapter where love, age, and independence blended as many of her peers left the screen. Diane had not changed, but Hollywood had. She kept going her own way, making middle age a new power on screen. A screen breakthrough. At 57, Diane Keaton's 2003 film Something's Gotta Give was a career highlight. Diane played Erica Berry, a brilliant, accomplished screenwriter who refused to be defined by love, with Jack Nicholson and Keanu Reeves. The picture made nearly $266 million worldwide, proving Diane could still lead a blockbuster film after Hollywood's customary retirement age. The success of Something's Gotta Give brought Diane back to the spotlight, leading to new roles with more emotional range in Because I Said. She played an overprotective mother who suffocated her daughter, making her a funny and emotionally reflective of an older woman's generational change fears. Diane then played veteran anchor Colleen Peck in Morning Glory, a lady who had formerly been successful but was now suffering in a younger, faster environment. Diane openly stated, "For a while you think you have to have someone to be fulfilled," when asked why she never married. "I no longer agree. The comment sparked debate, but was eventually recognized as a culmination of her longtime defiance of convention. Diane was comfortable discussing her singlehood. Her manifesto never materialized. The independent, cheerful, and self-defined lady lived her truth without needing love to justify her worth. Though confident, she had inner pains only her close friends knew. Diane lost her mother, the source of her creativity, in the early 2000s. After that loss, she wrote clown paintings and her memoir and took a break from public life. Again, she spent several pages on memory, creativity, and self-loss. She remarked that her work was meant to show that I live in a changing world, not to be remembered. Diane inspired in fashion. Her white shirts, wide-leg pants, bowler hats, and thick belts became cultural icons. From the original Annie Hall aesthetic, she created her own signature, combining femininity with androgyny, softness, and strength. According to critic Susan Morrison, Diane Keaton created fashion for women over 50 to seem brave, not young. Diane accepted her past after decades of hard work. Despite her peers' decline, she returned with a calmer, slower, more authentic voice. These calm years were when Diane revealed her deepest truths to Hollywood for the first time. Late confessions. Diane walked on stage at the 2017 AFI Life Achievement Awards in a white outfit, her silver hair shining. "I'm very blessed to be here tonight," she replied with a trembling. "Thanks, Woody, for everything." A single sentence, it sounded like the end of a long chapter, a quiet act of thanks and letting go. After over 50 years, Diane and Woody Allen's artistic partnership ended with gratitude. Diane discussed her late motherhood in a People interview 2 years later. She remembered adopting Dexter and Duke, who helped her find a normal existence after years on film sets. She said, "I admire my lady's friend's sense of humor." In the same interview, "Mom, I miss you." Diane began talking about connection and loss instead of employment near 70. Diane stated on Dr. Oz, "I wonder how she went from being so hidden to being so real and transparent." She was clearly talking to herself, the woman who had had a childhood of insecurity and masked an eating condition. "I got an expert at hiding," she said. In the 1970s, Diane battled bulimia, which exhausted and obsessed her. She finally admitted it decades later. Though the sickness was under control, the memories taught her to appreciate every healthy day. Diane remarked in an interview in 2018 to feel the world, explore, be with others, take things far, risk, and love. These remarks summed up her later life philosophy: live fully, daring to experience and love. Even briefly, Diane's peace came from years of treatment where she gained self-forgiveness. Adopting her children and undergoing therapy made her feel lighter and less harsh toward the past. Diane worked steadily despite media attention. Book Club featured renowned actresses including Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, Mary Steenburgen. Diane's portrayal of Carol represented her real-life freedom, wit, intelligence, and willingness to fall in love again. The picture made nearly $100 million, and the press called it a no-effort comeback. Diane shone during this time not from prizes or movie office numbers, but from serenity. After decades of conforming to Hollywood's strict standards, she left the spotlight while remaining memorable. Smiled, "I didn't miss anything." When asked if she regretted anything, "I had everything I desired and some extras." Diane's legacy is how she lived in a world that rarely forgives honesty, not Oscars or accolades. Lived slowly, talked little, and let her actions speak. Diane Keaton was an icon even after the lights went out and the stage closed. Her gentle voice still resonates. Comment below if Diane Keaton's tale inspires you to think about courage, aging, or living genuinely. What do you think of her silence in a loud world? Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to catch our next film stories.